Using the foot bar to block movement and support the students is something we're going to continue on in this segment. We're going to be using the infinity foot bar today in various positions. So you can see that I've already started with it slightly forward. I'm going to put a yellow and a red on for the demonstration purposes. This can be done on the floor with a foot on the box, or finally foot up on the carriage or on the gray strip. So I'm going to first show you without the box. This is a front splits warrior, different variations that you can do with or without springs. I'm going to show you with springs today. So blocking purposes is going to be up to you where you put the body. So the planting the standing foot, I've got it maybe 10 inches away. So my range of motion is really small. I'm on a readiness spring, so it's making me really use my glute. So play around with the different foot positions, body positions, and spring positions. And we're going to be using the carriage and the infinity foot bar for support. So going into a warrior lunge position, as I mentioned, you can do this without springs. It's in my workbook. It can be done on the floor, on the box, and even on the carriage, which I'll show you here. So we can add some extension of the knee. We can hold onto the bar as we do that extension. I'm going to take it down to one red only, and we're going to show you side bending and then back up, side bend. So there's some great ways to try different foot positions. Now, let's say you don't have the foot bar, but you want to use the carriage to block your movement. If you've got the standard foot bar, you're probably going to be hitting the foot bar itself at your leg. So you can always reach down, put your hand on the frame. But the infinity foot bar is a great way to teach this side splits variation, the warrior variation, and depending on where you put your leg for the blocking purposes. Taking the body up a little higher. Now, with the 18-inch reformer, I can put this box right under the edge. So your foot position is very important. If you're going to need to want it to be out farther, be very careful. It can tip. So you just need to move the box farther out to start with, depending on your limb length and what you're trying to do. So let's go through the different variations with the foot on the box. Starting with just the simple side splits side lunge variation, where I'm just opening and closing the carriage by abducting this hip, stabilizing. That's a nice opportunity. Adding the foot bar as a guide where to go to. So I can go into the lunge, extend the leg out, and use that foot bar for support. I can also use it to hold on to as I do some side stretches, pulses, back, full range I can do, rotation. So the infinity foot bar in this position offers limitless abilities. Let me take my socks off for this one because they are sliding. Use grippies, obviously, if your socks are rolling around. So going back to where we were, left foot turned out, right foot parallel, getting into that lateral lunge, that warrior position, and then tipping over like a windmill, getting a nice stretch. I can also go into some front splits or back splits, with the foot on the box. I can do this with the foot on the ground. I can do it turned out for more support, slightly turned out, or even flat, lifting off the heel. So using the infinity foot bar to help teach confidence in the back splits is wonderful. Now, this is the variation I like to use for most of my students because they're going to get most out of the exercise for flexibility. Going up on to the reformer, I'm going to lighten the resistance for that one. I'm going to go to a blue for demo purposes. I'm going to start with my foot at the front, the spring side edge of the carriage, and you're going to see I can block myself right there. So I'm not going to go real far. I can add some ankle work on the back leg and back out. Now, as I start moving better, start understanding where it is I'm going, I can move this infinity foot bar farther out. I can also lower it down a little bit if I need to. I've done it underneath, so let me show you farther out first, and then I'll show you underneath. So starting foot here, going there, moving foot center, increasing the range, going to foot to the side, and foot on the headrest. So there's some nice options there to offer. I'll show you camera side. So left foot off centered and push out. So two things with this position. I'm going to block myself so I'm not going too far. I'm supported with a foot bar. Foot center is going to let me go a little bit farther in that. Always grip the foot if it slides. And then finally foot at the shoulder rest, going into deep splits. Having the arms help support coming out of that is really quite wonderful. So I can get that stretch, and I can use the strength of my upper body to come out so I don't strain, and I get that wonderful stretch. So using that forward, adjusting it slowly. Now I went from really blocked to hardly blocked at all, or to no block, actually. You can slowly move it out 1 or 2 notches. I just went really quick because we got a lot to cover today. So now I'm going to take it underneath my body. So I'm going to start right about there. And I'm going to start, there we go. All right. So now I can kind of move. I'm going to take it to 2. So right about there is about good for me. The wonderful thing about the foot bar is you can put it so many different places. So it's unlocked right now. So you can lock it in, but you don't have to, because you may need to play around with it a couple times to feel where it is. So there's probably where I think is going to be most beneficial for me in this. So I've got the security, the range of motion I need. I can add some arm work and support myself to come out of it. I can go all the way into a bent and straight bending and straightening knee variation. So there's so many great opportunities with the Infinity Foot Bar to teach some black splits choreography. I'm going to drop it down even one more. And I'm going to go foot. Let's show you foot here, and then we'll go up. So I'm going to show you lift, stand, extend, and drop down, and stretch. Back down, up. So the wonderful thing about using it there is you have so many options for assisting, whether you're assisting on the way down or assisting on the way up. And all of these things that I'm showing you, I want you to play around with foot positioning, whether you're using the arms. So right now I'm completely rested on my thigh. I'm getting a major hip flexor stretch in my left, and then I'm getting the benefits of the stretch as well. I think that's it for there, so I'm going to take it up a notch, and I'm going to block right about there. This one we're going to want to lock in. All right, I can't do it with my ankle on that side, so let me demo this side. So I'm going to show you with my heel at the spring side edge and starting with my foot on the box. So here is some nice ranges out to the splits. A little lower, I'm getting a really great stretch as I showed you on the other side. Then I can take my foot up, going down, and then working on balance. And again, I've locked that foot bar in and then back. So I can do both legs straight, in and out, walk my hands down, walk my hands back up, bend, come up. Or I can straighten the front leg, get into the stretch, slowly flex forward, fingertips down to the frame, and block it that way with the foot bar. So I've got that stability when I'm coming up. No springs, you can do some really great splits with no springs. I'm going to take the springs off. I'm going to first step in the well. Depending on where this foot bar is, I'm going to open it out and I'm going to drop it one more. So right now, this isn't too aggressive. But the wonderful thing is I can teach some great movements without any springs on the floor in the well. When you're working with a shorter reformer, you're going to have more range of motion than me. So if you've got the clinical 14 or the Studio Infinity 14-inch, you're not going to be as high as I am, but also too, your limbs might be shorter. So please play around with propping. So I've got a really great stretch there, coming up, and then standing. I can take the foot slightly forward. I can add a little bit deeper stretch, come forward, and really use that bar to block me. Let me lock it down. Dorsiflex, stretch forward, rotation, back up. Show you the other side. Bring the carriage in. Start perhaps with hands up, all the way forward. Flex the heel if you're on top. Reach forward, rotate, bend back in, arms up. So I want you to try, if you have the Infinity Foot Bar, all these different variations standing in the well. I'm going to bring it back this way for this variation. That's going to be probably about right for me. So if I want to add some pretty intense stretches, I'm going to take the leg out. To me, that's probably going to be good. Totally supported here, so I know my pelvis isn't going to move. And I've got that nice support I need with the foot bar. I can add rotation. I can take my hand on the bar behind me and add rotation. And let me show you facing the camera. Foot is on. Flex that heel. Stretch deep. And feels great. And I know I'm not going to strain myself because I've got that nice support blocking me with that foot bar. I'm going to now rotate and reach forward. And again, feeling that wonderful support from the bar. Let me show you with a thigh stretch. using the foot bar for balance and support. You can do this with the box on. I often will do it with the box on. I'm going to start it here. And I'm simply going to do a nice stretch and extension for 5, using the foot bar for stability and support. And then I'm going to come up an extension, continue to come up, and do a wonderful stretch. Back down, flex hips or lumbar, whatever you feel you're working on today. I'll show you the other side. Nice little lumbar stretch, lumbar flexion, thoracic extension. Take my arms farther forward or back, depending on what's right for me. And then up. Taking a little bit more of a rotational aspect to this. Left arm goes down. Once it's on the foot bar, I'm going to rotate and side bend, either to the leg or away. Away is going to be more aggressive. If you feel you need to pad the foot, I have quite a few students have sensitive top foot. Do one of two things. If you're not going to be getting on the reformer and you're going to do a stretch, you can always keep shoes on. Or just put a grip pad over this, something a little bit softer, so they're not pressing in, causing agitation on the skin. When you're doing front stretches, using the foot bar, let me just show you. I could keep these segments going on for hours. I wanted to give you just the basics on what you can do with a foot bar, because I see so many people using the foot bar for supine work, where we've got it here and we're doing arm presses. And I really want to take you up a notch and show you so many different things you can do with it. And I'll do more segments again in the future, showing you different opportunities. If I get enough comments and feedback that this segment was something you guys, I'm not sure how many people have infinity foot bars, but for those, please leave a comment and let me know. If you found ways to modify this without the infinity foot bar, please share it with the students, because I don't have a standard studio reformer. So I'm sitting, I've got my foot on there, pad according, and I'm just using that to help stretch my hamstring and back up. Let me show you camera side on the stretch. So there's so much you can do. Add rotation, lateral flexion. Take both of them up. You can add some rollbacks to this series. I don't want to get too far into it. I want to use this mostly for blocking purposes. Standing version of that is going to look like this. I'm going to take the foot bar a tiny bit forward based on my limb length. So I can get it. There we go. I'm going to go on the heel so I can add some dorsi and plantar flexion, starting here and then going here and point. You can turn, you can add some stretches here after doing the hamstring. You can do some stretches here and then finish up with some deep lunge sit backs. And then finally, that thigh stretch variation I showed you. So try these different variations, whether you're inside the well, on the reformer, using springs, not using springs. There's so many different variations you can do for stretches, for blocking, and also for security, holding on options too. As I mentioned in all the videos, please make sure you leave me comments. I apologize about the audio on a couple of the videos from this segment. You just got to crank it on your computer or your mobile device you're watching. The ear pod was kind of Sounded muffled, so I apologize. So I switched the other one. Something's wrong. Technical difficulties. So I hope you enjoyed watching this series 1 through 4 on using the carriage or using the foot bar for blocking and also for support. Thanks so much.